Hello, everyone. Where do you go to get all your news? Washington Informer. And we are so excited to be with you this Thursday as we welcome Jinhee Kim from Events DC. She is the chief creative officer. Is that correct, Jinhee?
That's right.
And we're just so happy to have you today. Events DC is doing such amazing work here and really elevating and engaging the district's creative community and beyond in so many awesome ways. And so I know we have to talk about the Around the World Embassy Tour, but before we get into the nitty gritty, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much, Misha. I'm really super excited to talk about Around the World Embassy Tour, and all the things that Events DC is doing to really uplift and amplify the wonderful, distinctive communities who live and thrive here in DC.
And tell us a little bit about Events DC. What are you all up to? I know you're very busy.
Yes, Events DC is a really fascinating organization, in that we're sort of involved in all things DC, bringing people into the city, having people stay in the city, enjoying what they're doing here. And so you will see us doing large sports events, large music concerts, and then doing also cultural festivals, like we, engaging people out at the fields at RFK. We just recently had a day of play for our community, and it was free activities for kids and families to come out. And this is one of the things that we love doing, and appreciating and being very grateful for the community supporting and what we do. So we also do, we have an online content portal called Gathered by Events DC, which we won an Emmy and 4 Telly Awards, and it's all, the content there is all about everything that makes DC so unique. And so you'll see our creative community represented there. You'll see the diplomatic corps and the international community represented there. And it's really to entice people to understand who lives here in DC, the organizations that thrive here, and then really kind of pushing them out with content to come to our events.
And in all that you all are up to and busy doing, what is your job as chief creative officer? What does that look like?
My job is to do whatever people tell me to do. Now, so what I was brought on to do, which was 2 months before the pandemic, was
Mm.
to create original productions, so original events. So when I say original, it's really conceived of, created, designed, and executed solely by Events DC. And so I had been the head of programming at Apple, and we created the Storymakers Festival, and I think Events DC then um, uh, President and CEO Greg Odell saw, I guess, what we were doing at Carnegie and said, "Why don't you come and do that for the city at large?" So that was really exciting, and I started 2 months before the pandemic, and so before we could even get up and running, we started to look at Embassy Chef Challenge, which I'm really excited to talk about as well. And then, boom, the pandemic hit, and so we didn't. Nobody knew how long we would be in that scenario. So I said, I think we should really try and stay close to our communities, let them know that we're still here, let them know that, we want to stay engaged with them. So we created the gatheredbyeventsdc.com platform. And that was really calling friends in the creative community, send us a video, send us what you're doing in the studio. What kind of live art are you still doing? And that evolved into what is now a real content portal. And so we do live content, and digital content, and then we do what we call live content or live programs, which are these live events. And that's what we've been doing ever since.
Awesome. And it sounds like you're not sleeping.
But if you think I'm not sleeping, what about my team? And also, we have a new president and CEO. She just passed her 100-day mark a month or so ago, Angie M. Gates. We
Yes.
are so excited because she comes from a creative background, from film, from entertainment. So we feel we have an added support and ally in what we're trying to do. It started with Greg Odell, who had the vision. We had the interim Samuel Thomas, who was amazing supporter, and now we've got Angie M. Gates, who is just she's like, we get emails like 24 hours a day from her. Just, what about this? What about that? What about these ideas? And she's just a treasure trove of ideas, and so we're very, very excited to have her on board leading the charge here.
Well, it sounds like a great team with so many awesome, awesome events and programming coming to the district. And so I'm really excited. We're here to talk about the Around the World Embassy Tour. You plugged one of my favorite events, the Embassy Chef Challenge. So we got to talk about that as well. Tell us how you're engaging the district's embassies and the people here.
Yes, I think what's really interesting about the Embassy Chef Challenge and around the world embassy tours is it's it's kind of flipping the narrative of, let's look at what what we do as a community through the lens of these multiple communities who live and thrive here. So we always say there's a local, there's a national, and there's an international community, and they all intersect beautifully in DC. And where else in the country really do you have those three thriving communities? And so we tap into our local community, obviously the creative community and the local economy, the national footprint of politics as it is here, and then the international community, who, we have over 175 embassies. Where else, what other city has that concentration of the international community, and the important diplomatic corps who live and are deeply rooted in the success of this area and this region? So the embassy, the around the world embassy tours have been happening, I believe, since 2008. They sort of started with the European Union saying we're going to open our doors and invite people into our homes, and then more embassies wanted to get involved, and so the European Union, they have their amazing celebration as well. And that happens May 13th, and then Around the World Embassy Tour happens May 6th, and we have over 60, first time ever, over 60 embassies participating. And it is, people say, oh, well, we're going to come and we're going to see the world in one afternoon. So
Yeah.
I think on average, people can engage with around 4 to 5 embassies in one afternoon if they start early. And it's for us, it's really important you know to really help these embassies message who they
Mhm.
are as a culture, who they are as a community thriving, intersecting with us here locally, and the important work that they do in world diplomatic core and diplomacy, and then to kind of carry that through. So that happens May 6th, and then, as you say, the Embassy Chef Challenge, that is really looking at diplomacy through the culinary arts. And so we like to say it's diplomacy through culinary arts. And that's a really exciting, this is where I think we're seeing our 15th year this year. Last year we did it at the American Art Museum. This year, we'll let you know soon when we confirm the venue. We're in negotiations around, but it's even a bigger and more iconic venue. So we're really super excited. And that will be a part of a 3-day international city food festival that we created. This is the second year. And again, this is something, food and love need no translation. And you combine the two, and you've got International City Food Festival. And so October 12th, 13th, and 14th, we're having 3 days of festivals, and Embassy Chef Challenge launches the 3-day festival. And then we'll
Wow.
have 2 other festivals that we are kind of working together with a number of embassies to do. And for us, it's also important to do it very authentically. And so it's less of us representing these communities, and more giving them a platform to message out and amplify what they want to say and what they want to do, and for them to share their culture. So it hits close to home for me, being a first generation immigrant from South Korea, and to be able to engage and collaborate with the international community is very important and exciting for us.
And you just led me beautifully into my next question, because that was it. Why should Washingtonians want to engage with the international community? Why is it important to do so?
I think it's, from a personal standpoint. I mean, from a community or a company standpoint, I think the international community is so integral to the success and really sort of the reopen campaign the mayor has as well for DC, and driving people into the nation's capital. And I think that the international community is a really important um, um, grouping of not just embassies, but people. I mean, we have to remember these embassies have ambassadors and chefs and staff and people and diplomats and people who represent who they are and their place in this beautiful patchwork that makes us global citizens. And I think that, it invites us out of sort of this, a comfortable region where we live, but also it's so unique to Washington, D.C. And we have people being bussed from New Jersey, from Florida, from across, like literally bussed across the country to come and experience this. And it's in our backyard. And I think that it's important to understand how we exist together locally and how we exist nationally and internationally, because I think we should always think about how we are a global citizen, and that kind of carries across a lot of things, not just culture and community, but the climate, our resources. How do we share stories, how do we share who we are, and how we intersect with one another on a number of different business, economy, socioeconomic, all these different areas that, it just invites us to think more fully and comprehensively about who we are and holistically about where we live. I don't know if
Wow.
that answers your question, but
I mean, it beautifully answered it. That's what we like to call a mic drop. Okay. Oh, Jinhee, thank you so much for being with us today. I am so inspired and excited by the work that Events DC is doing, and thank you and you all's amazing team. Which I just have to shout out the girl power that is that is in the room. You know what I mean? I'm loving it. So Angie M. Gates is dear to us at the Informer, and has been for years. And so we appreciate you shouting her out, and of course her leadership as well. And Jinhee, you are just killing the game and bringing all the fun and all of the engaging, captivating events to the area. And like I said, people are having a good time. I have to plug my best friend was one of the many folks who took her family to Day of Play at the Fields at RFK campus. And she posted a video of her double dutching. And I like wanted to cry.
no, that's
Like, oh my
amazing.
gosh, this is the best thing ever.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yes, yes. So,
Well,
uh,
Micha, we're so grateful for you too, and we're grateful for our board for bringing us together. And I think that, we would love for you to come and really experience, whether it's around the world embassy tour or coming to Embassy Chef Challenge, and really getting a firsthand glimpse and in real time seeing what it is and what the impact. I mean, we like to say, you know, the social impact is very important for us. And part of that is amplifying voices who, sometimes don't have that representation, but also really making sure that our community feels represented in everything that we do. So we would love for you to come, and we'd love to talk more about, our Gather platform, and just to have you kind of embedded with us to see what we do.
I would absolutely love that. I am holding you to that, Jinhee. We have to make
Yes.
this happen in like the next couple of days, weeks, certainly. And I'm again so incredibly excited about the Around the World Embassy Tour, which happens May 6th, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Guys, you don't want to miss this. Again, it's right in our backyard and gives us the opportunity to engage with 60 countries. 60 countries. Now, of course, you probably can't do all of that in those hours, but as Jinhee said, if you can do even 3 or 4 would be amazing. And so go out, enjoy the day. DC's been having pretty mild weather here recently. So,
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And I think that really kind of pick and choose which embassies you'd like to go to, because they're all
mm,
doing something unique, obviously unique to their country, but also, for example, the UK, they're opening their doors because of the day of coronation. They're going to have coronation cake, and so you'll probably have a proximity to what's going on in the UK, unlike anywhere else. So I think that it's just it's I just keep I can't express that and emphasize that, there's really nowhere else in the United States, maybe even around the world for that matter, in terms of having this concentration of embassies that are open to the public. And I think it's so exciting. I hope everybody comes out and get your little passport so it can get it stamped.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. That is just
Could I
amazing.
also just say that we just want to make sure that people know that they should bring their government ID, because oftentimes they're going to ask you for that. And also, just in case they're asking for masks, you might want to bring that just in case as well.
Okay. And then are there like rules about bags? Like people should probably do little bags, no big
That's right.
backpacks, that kind of thing.
That's
Great.
right.
And look at Christy doing her job. Thank you so much.
Yay!
Yes, go to eventsdc.com around World Embassy Tour. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Misha.
This has
Thank
been
you.
awesome for me. Thank you. Thank you to all of the Events DC team. Y'all are killing it. Continue to bring us this awesome programming so that we can get used to it. Take care.
We'll see you soon. Thank you.
See you soon.